So guys, we got a very nice production update for ONVO L60. But first of all, here is a new leaked color of the ONVO L60. This nice turquoise blue color. So some people don't really like this color, but I think it looks pretty nice. What do you guys think about this color? Let me know in the comments down below. But of course, the main thing we're going to talk about is the fact that production ramp up is going to take 4 months. Yep, you heard it right. The upper exec at ONVO L60, the first ONVO L60 owner, he said, Tsinghua, he said that it's going to take 4 months, right, until you reach full capacity. Have a listen.
Production starts in September, and in October and November regardless. The first 3 months will always be a gradual ramp-up process. It's an objective reality that the initial quarter can't be rushed. From the 4th month onward, things should pick up speed.
So basically, he's confirming that September, that's when you're going to start deliveries, probably late September, and then you're going to have a gradual ramp up at September, October, November, and then you're going to see deliveries fully kick off and lots of cars being produced in December. And that's when that's how long it's going to take for this whole entire ramp up process. So that means that at the very start, at the very get-go, we're not going to see massive delivery numbers for ONVO L60. So just keep your expectations in check. There are quite a lot of ONVO pre-orders. Some of you guys asked, what's going on with ONVO pre-orders? Are they ever going to tell us about it? I've talked in previous videos about how some of the pre-orders are more of a show of support, okay? In order for some of the sales reps to keep their jobs, they got to get as many pre-orders as they can, and some of them are have no intention of taking delivery of the car, aka, for example, the ONVO sales reps asking the NIO sales reps to pre-order the car so that they have one extra KPI metric that they've satisfied. And also, for example, the ONVO CEO saying that he pre-ordered 102 cars because he was the number 102nd NIO owner ever. So clearly he's not going to take a delivery of 102 ONVO L60s, just like how a lot of these show of support orders aren't going to be like, they're not going to take delivery of the car. It's going to be refunded when it comes time to lock in that order. And also, it's just, so that's why you're not seeing ONVO or NIO come out and tell you what these pre-order numbers are. But it's, of course, it's really, really high. All right, it's like apparently triple what they were expecting. So pre-orders are good, but how many of them are show of support and how many of them are actual orders, that's yet to be seen. But right off the get-go, we're not going to see massive delivery numbers, maybe a couple hundred or a couple thousand at the start, and then slowly ramp up to hopefully more than 10,000 by December. And remember, ONVO, the brand ONVO, needs at least 20,000 deliveries, according to NIO CEO, for it to become profitable at its margins. And I think that number might be even lower because they're launching the car at the exact price that they said that they would launch the car at. There were rumors that they're going to make it cheaper. They even said it themselves. They might make it cheaper, but they're not making it cheaper. They're keeping their healthy amount of margins, so that it's going to be quite profitable, and probably even more profitable than selling NIO cars, because NIO cars you have to give out lots of incentives, and also the cost of producing a NIO is actually quite high. So once you have these incentives and price cuts and discounts and all that stuff added in, there's really not much profit to be made. This ramp up is also very normal, and what you would expect is a lot of people that have pre-ordered the car, they wouldn't even lock in the orders until they have driven the car. So there's definitely a lot of that going on. There's going to be a lot of people that are waiting to pull the trigger. They're going to compare it with the Model Y, with other competitors, and see what it's like for themselves before pulling the trigger. It's always been like that. So it's going to take some time until we see those big delivery numbers for ONVO L60 kick in. Now, some of you guys may be aware that NIO is building factory number 3 and factory number 4 for building cars, all right? And some of you guys are worried that even right now, NIO has said that they can't produce as many cars to meet demand. They're saying that, so they have to build factory 3 and factory 4. And some people are thinking, if they can't meet demand now, they don't have the capacity to meet demand now, why, how can we expect ONVO to be able to meet demand? Well, ONVO is a separate production line, all right? It's not impacted by NIO's production line. They're in the same factory, but the whole entire capacity output is not dependent on NIO, right? So however many cars NIO can produce does not affect however many cars ONVO can produce, even though they're at the same factory. And of course, with factory 3 and 4, that's for the Firefly sub-brand, and also the ONVO's next car, which will be a more of a traditional SUV and a much bigger 3-row car. So that's going to be also a very nice hot seller as well. Now, if you remember my video about NIO's factory, and they were talking about how they have a lot of robots, and they had everything is automated, and then they have the AI scanning and doing all sorts of stuff to make sure everything's precise down to like 0.05 millimeters and stuff. So it's very high tech, and the production line is definitely, it requires some time to ramp up and tune and make sure everything's working right. But then once it gets going, and it's going to be able to pump out a lot of cars. And what's really unique about NIO's factory is that there's so many customization options. Even for ONVO, like for ONVO, a lot of things are standard, but it's still going to have a whole lot of customization options for the car, which is quite interesting. And to be able to have that many customization options, you really need to have the factory be super high tech and super advanced, and that really takes some time for everything to be set up. And they also have to make sure that everything that comes out undergoes vigorous quality control, and they don't want a botched launch, right? They don't want to build cars and then have the cars come back. ET5, if you guys remember back in 2022 when they launched the ET5, they had some wiring issues and some cars had to be recalled. So that was definitely something that they probably learned their lesson and would not want to repeat again. So they got to make sure everything is perfect. So it's going to take some time to ramp up. That's absolutely fine. And Q4, I think by ramping up in Q4 in December, that's going to be actually a very hot period of time for deliveries. And then next year, 2025, Q1, January, February, we're going to have Chinese New Year. You're going to have a little period of pause, all right? Some people are on vacation, going to the hometowns, etc. So deliveries might be a little bit lower then. But then after vacation, after Chinese New Year, people get all their red packets and stuff. They got money in the bank. And then that's when you start seeing deliveries kick off March, April next year. So, ramp up December. You're going to see full capacity, hopefully. That's what he's promising. And then maybe a little bit of stagnation in January, February because of Chinese New Year. But then afterwards, it should be all guns blazing going forward. And by then, you should also have the Firefly sub-brand also launched. And then very soon, that's going to start delivery and pumping out numbers, spectacular numbers. And hopefully by then, 2025, you're also going to see NT 3.0 cars roll off the line and start being delivered to customers for NIO's third generation vehicles. So you're going to have a lot of stuff coming in 2025. So it's going to be a very great period of time. But I think most people ordering an ONVO right now, they will probably get it in 2025. It's going to take some time. As always, stay safe, stay healthy. Peace out.